Hello, my name is Shannon Bauer, and this is my final assignment. To begin, I'm going to make a Swiss meringue buttercream. I have sanitized my kitchen and created my mise en place, which includes sugar, vanilla, egg whites, and a bunch of butter. Now I'm going to set up a double boiler on my stove, get that boiling, and we can get started. I've stirred together my egg whites and sugar, and now I'm going to stir this over a double boiler until it reaches 140 degrees. Now that all the sugar has been dissolved into my egg whites, and it has reached around 140 degrees, I'm going to transfer it into my stand mixer bowl. Now I'm going to bring this over to my stand mixer and whip it. Now I'm going to whisk this until the mixture cools and it has doubled in volume. Now that my meringue is done, I'm going to slowly incorporate my butter. All of my butter has been incorporated and my Swiss meringue buttercream is nice and creamy and smooth. Now I'm ready to use this as a crumb coat and final coating for my cakes. Now that my buttercream is ready, I've pulled out my cakes from the fridge and I'm going to create a very thin crumb coat. Now that my base tier is nicely crumb coated in a thin layer of frosting, I'm going to move on to my top tier and do the same thing. Now that my top tier and bottom tier have both been crumb coated, I'm going to pop these into the fridge to chill to set this layer of frosting, and then we can get started on the final frosting. Now that my cake has chilled, I'm going to pipe a little bit of a thicker layer of icing around the outside and on top. And now I'm going to smooth this out. Now that I've created a very even layer of icing around my cake, I'm going to take the straight side of my cake scraper. I'm going to spin my turntable to create a very smooth outer surface, since this tier is not going to be covered in fondant. Now that I've created really even and smooth sides, I'm going to put this in the fridge and allow it to chill until this sets up. Then I'm going to pull it out of the fridge and we're going to use the same bench scraper with warm water and smooth it out even more, as well as cut off this top layer. In the meantime, I've also done the same thing to my bottom tier. Now that my tier has chilled nicely, I've been soaking my bench scraper in hot water. I'm going to dry off the edge and smooth this out a bit more with the warm surface. Now that my top tier and bottom tier are both nice and straight-sided, I am going to chill this one more time and prepare my fondant. To prepare my fondant, I have kneaded it so it's very pliable. And now I'm going to roll this out using my non-stick rolling pin. I have rolled out my fondant super thin, and now I'm going to cut the black strips that are going to go onto my bottom tier. To do this, I'm going to use this plastic ruler that I have cleaned as a guide. I'm also going to be using my X-Acto knife. I've created a light etching on the top of my cake to mark out where I want to put my strips. I'm going to glove up and we can put them on. Now that all my stripes are lined up, I'm going to take my X-Acto knife again and trim the edges. Now that my fondant strips are all cleaned up, I'm going to add my supports. My supports are in and my bottom tier is ready to go. Now I'm ready to transfer this top tier onto it. Get it nice and centered. Beautiful. I've prepared a piping bag with a coupler and a star tip, and now I'm going to pipe a shell border right along here. Just like that. Now that I've created a border along the top, I'm going to do the same thing along this edge. Now that I've created both of my borders, I'm going to place on my 3D edible sculptures. My cake has chilled one more time to set the border, and now I'm going to place on all of my 3D sculptures. My ghost and jack-o'-lantern are going to go on top. Just like that. So cute. And now I'm going to place on my assortment of black roses. Here is my final creation.